It has been mentioned by Malcolm, the great admiration that we have for her work and for the accomplishments of First Move. Coming from Seattle, it was also a long trip. Thank you very much for taking this big effort to joining us here. And I see her talk is coming up. Chess to develop the whole child.
Correct. Yeah.
Wendi.
It is a pleasure to be here. This was quite an honor when I was asked to speak. And I'm certainly thrilled to be here today and to hear all these other things and meet wonderful people who are doing so many great things in chess and education. So it's been fascinating, and I've only been here not even a full day yet to talk to people. My background is education, and education, like many fields, is full of trends and fads and the latest, greatest, and ideas that come and go. And there is one constant, though. When it comes to education, we are educating our future leaders and workforce. Regardless of how we do it, that is what the purpose of education is. Different ethnicities, different cultures. You can probably guess there's probably some socioeconomic differences in the kids. But there is one thing that is the same, and it doesn't show up in pictures. And that is that all of these kids are eager to learn. They were actually born to learn. Kids are very curious and inquisitive and excited. If you've ever taken a 4-year-old for a walk, the next thing you know, they're down on the ground, you're like, what are you looking at as you're walking along? Like, Mom, look at this anthill. Where do you think he's going? How many ants do you think live there? Do you think that ant's married? Does he have a pet? Rome was once attacked by war elephants. All I have to do is type that in my Google search, and bang, that's your cues. Put together ideas for you, but it doesn't truly think. That is the one thing that we can do for our kids, is to teach them how to think. Now, how to think. Is there a formula for that? Not really. It's something that you do by experiencing it, by doing it, by trying it. I did type how to think in, by the way. And if you type in how to think, don't worry, you're not going to be able to read any of this. Go ahead. This is one of the top websites that comes up if you type in how to think into your search engine, at least in mine. It comes up with a 6-stage process with 9 strategies that the, quote, motivated person can use to develop as a thinker. Well, that turned me off from thinking. So we're not going to go that route. If I was going to be the search engine and deliver results, and someone typed in how to think, here would be my response. How to think. I would say, learn to play chess. You learn to play chess, you learn to think. You think by doing. And it's absolutely phenomenal what chess can do in a classroom. And that is my background. I said I'm an educator. I've only experienced chess through classroom usage. I don't do clubs, I'm not a tournament player by any means. Yes, I do know how to play chess, but that's not my strong suit. My strong suit is education and learning how to maximize what kids get out of their education. And we have found an amazing way to do that by using chess as the learning tool. So it's not so much about playing chess, it's about using chess as a learning tool. So what we really want to do is build a foundation of thinking skills for these kids. And we target 2nd and 3rd graders. And we looked kind of across the board at the different age groups and what kids kind of are expected to know, learning to know, need to know. And we targeted 2nd and 3rd graders because they're really developing their foundation of thinking skills. It's things that as adults we don't necessarily remember that we didn't always know, which sounds a little bit funny, but when you do things regularly every day, sometimes you forget that you didn't know it and you had to learn it. And as an example, the skill of visualization or visual imagery. This is something that we just do. But at some point you had to learn it. No one ever sat you down and said, today we're going to have a lesson on visual imagery. But you learned it over the years. So here's an example. Grandmasters would be, they can give you the best example. They can play blindfolded chess. Well, probably other masters can too, but I remember watching Magnus Carlsen play 15 people blindfolded. O on B2. You can click through these as I say them, please. And I say I'll put my X on C1. Well, you better choose to put your O on B1 to block. And then I better choose to put my X on B3 to block. Okay, you can open your eyes. So that is visual imagery. It's being able to see it in your mind. And it's something that kids can't do this at second grade. They have to develop this skill, but they do it in the process of playing and learning. And I actually did this with my kids in the car. This is how we used to play, and I'd work with them. They'd start on paper, and I'd be driving along, and I would be doing it in my head. And eventually they got to the point where they can do it in their head too. Students, and in unison, they all reply, "Good morning, Mrs. Fisher. Today we are going to solve for the unknown." I'm making this sound as exciting as possible. So what I want you to do is take out a piece of lined paper, and I want you to put your name in the upper left-hand corner, and then number 1 through 10 on every other line, 1 through 10. Here's an example that I've done for you. Name at the top, and then put your numbers. Now I only went through 4, I want you to go through 10. And then I want you to open your textbook and turn to page 4. Are the children not just getting their academic needs filled, which they have to do, but also, are they healthy? Are they safe? Are they respected? Are they challenged? Do they feel successful? All of those things are incorporated with the whole child theory. A bad thing? Like, okay, fine, you keep your money. I would much rather feel that every student in my class benefited, even if they were all different benefits. Side of the spectrum. Any of you have kids that play video games? Or play them yourselves? I have an 11-year-old son, and if I would let him, he would probably play video games 24/7. I don't. He's playing along, and he's got his controller, and he's playing his game, and suddenly out pops a machete-toting zombie and kills his character. Does he sink his head and go, "I'm sorry, first move," or didn't they? It was the one factor that they used as far as dividing into cohorts. It was a big study. There were about 2,500 kids in each group. And they looked at their test scores 2 years in a row. Blew his first move. On both math and reading, the first move cohort scored 5 to 11% higher both years. Kids drawing. We get pictures from the kids all the time. And this one says, "Chess makes me a better student because it really helps me in math." I think that it's fun to see what the kids learn and what they think they're learning from chess and from the program. And I had a little boy one time, I asked him, I said, "What do you like about chess?" Little guy, 3rd grader, was about this tall. He said, "On the playground, I'm really small, but on the chessboard, I'm really big." And I thought that was so adorable. I love to talk to the kids and hear from them. I had another one who said, "You know, chess is sneaky. We think we're playing a game and we're really getting smarter."